Well, today's adventure, This and That with Lovey, is going to take a little bit of a different twist. A lot of people are interested in history, especially things like people, places, and things. Well, one of the things we're going to deal with is regional history. And we're going to go south of where I live, about 90 miles, to our next little adventure in Missouri. Well, Missouri was admitted to the Union in 1821 as a 24th state. And Iowa was a territory still at the time. And there are a lot of famous Missourians. I want to mention some people like Chuck Berry, Sheryl Crow, Walt Disney, Mark Twain, and of course the 33rd President of the United States, Harry S. Truman. Well, people living in Fremont, kind of like I do, we're only a stone's throw away from Missouri. And like I said, about 90 miles from St. Joseph, Missouri. So that's where our next adventure is going to take place. One often celebrated Missourian was more famous for several of the wrong reasons. One Jesse Woodson James, born September 5th, 1847, near Kearney, Missouri. Jesse was one of America's most famous outlaws. Jesse was raised in the Little Dixie area of western Missouri. Jesse and his family maintained strong Southern sympathies. He joined pro-Confederate guerrillas operating in Missouri and Kansas. After the Civil War, he joined with a few others robbing banks, stagecoaches, and trains across the Midwest. April 3rd, 1882, Jesse James was shot and killed in St. Joe, Missouri. He became a very legendary figure of the Old West well after his death. A while back, there was an opportunity to purchase an item that reportedly belonged to this famous outlaw. According to written provenance, a watch fob belonging to James was given to one John Hughes. John Hughes was a barkeep at a local saloon and billiard hall called the Mint in downtown St. Joe. Okay, here's a letter that came with the watch fob, and there's also a copy of this. This letter dated 1941, and it was written by Samuel O. Pryor. Well, Pryor was the favorite nephew of John Hughes, and John Hughes' wife was also a Pryor. So when John died, his wife called in his favorite nephew when he was visiting and said, "I've got something for you." And what he gave him was this watch fob that reportedly came from Jesse James. At least that's what the letter said. A couple of highlights in the letter said that when Jesse James, was young, they were living on a farm with this John Hughes. They were in the same area, Liberty, Missouri, is where the farms were. Jesse James came in one day to the saloon on Uncle John's birthday, and Uncle John said, "Hey, Jesse, it's my birthday. How do I look?" Jesse hesitated for a little bit, and then he reached in his pocket, and he pulled out his watch, released the snap of the watch fob, and said, "Here, Jack, you always were crazy about this fob, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a present of it for your birthday." And that's basically how John Hughes came into possession of Jesse James's watch fob. Okay, I've got a little diagram here, a drawing that was made by Samuel Pryor, and it was signed by Pryor and said it was drawn to the best of his ability. This is supposedly a picture of the watch fob, including the stone that was attached to it. And I noticed that the signatures from the letter Samuel O. Pryor and the drawing Samuel O. Pryor are exactly the same signatures. So I don't have any question that Samuel Pryor did write the letter and draw the diagram. And what he did was he took that watch fob. He was living in New Jersey, and he had it made into a pin. And here is this pin. Now, if you look at it, it's somewhat the same. And he said it was about 1.5 inches stone by 1 inch, and that fits right with gold filigree. And he took it to Tiffany's supposedly and had it made into a pin that they could wear. And eventually, he gave the pin to one of his lady friends. But how this story unwinds, we'll probably never know. But I believe that this is the stone from the watch fob of Jesse James.